Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I want to discuss about the template inheritance. So what exactly that means? So for better understanding, I just open Amazon.com. So into this Amazon.com site, you can see they have the most common some of the page. Like that is our header part. So header part is most common for our every pages, right? So that is our sidebar part. So that is also common for the every pages, and also they have the content part. That means this portion will be the content, and this content part will be changed for every page. Okay, and also that is our footer part. So footer part, header part, and the sidebar part most common for the every pages. Like here, if you now go to a specific this product, so that is the product page. You can see only this content part is now become changed, but header is the same, and also you can see there is a footer is the same, right? So if you also want to inherit your site, then you can define that things with this template inheritance. So how can do that work? Step by step I will show you. Like here for our this project, I want to define some of the header part, and that means header part will be the common for the every pages. And if you want to add some of the footer part, the footer part will be the common for the every pages. And also if you want to include all that your CSS or the JSS with a specific some of the page, then you can also defining it. Only the content part will be loaded differently for every time. Okay, so here I want to define this part. So for doing this, we have to do better. That is our first step. So right now we don't need this. I just remove everything from here. Okay, I just remove everything, and in our template, that is our first app template. Into the first app template, here I want to create another file. I just click a new open file, and here I take it as a base. Okay, I just name it as a base.html. That means that will be our base HTML file, and here I want to load all that our main things. That means header and also CSS and the JSS, everything I want to define in particular that page area. Okay, so here I want to load everything, and then if you want to display your all the index data, then only I want to extend it with this index, and there is a form. So step by step I will show you. So first of all, I want to work in our base HTML. So into the base HTML, I define as a HTML tag. I just simply define one of the HTML tag, and here I define the title. I define the title as a Django. Okay, Django project. So here I define one of the title as a Django project. So into the base URL, here I want to load all that CSS and the JSS file for our project, and also I want to load our header part, because for the every pages we will need that navigation bar. So for the navigation, I want to load it in our this base HTML area. So if you want to do that work, so right now for doing this, I want to use that Bootstrap. So if you already know about that Bootstrap, then I think you already know about it. So first of all, I want to use that Bootstrap CDN. Okay, I want to use that Bootstrap CDN. If you go to that Bootstrap CDN, there is the introduction Bootstrap. So from here, so you can see there's the CDN, CSS, and the JSS code. So right now I want to use it. I just simply copy it. Now there is open in our base URL. That means here. So if you want to use that CSS, you have to use it into the head area. So I just simply paste it. Okay, I just simply paste it. And also I want to take our all the JSS, that means the Bootstrap JSS. I copy 3 of this and into the body area. Okay, so after the into the body area here, I just simply paste it. So I just simply paste 3 of this on here. So I just simply defining it, and that is actually HTML. So now I want to change it. So here I want to make the things as a PHP. So that is the PHP, there is a PHP. Okay, so I just simply define as a PHP right now. And also into the body area, that means here I want to load one of the navbar. If you go to that Bootstrap official site, there is a documentation, and here if you go to that components, and into the components they have some of the navbar. So that is actually the navbar. For now I want to take some of the navbar from here. They have so many resources you can use. So there is also another one, like that is actually the another one. So for now I want to actually use it. Okay, I just simply copy it. I just simply copy every code from here, copy it, and now go to our site, and here into the body area I just simply paste it. Okay, I just simply paste it here. We don't need this snap, so I just simply remove it. And also we don't need this button, I just simply remove. That is the dev ID, we also don't need this, I just simply remove it. So there is a dev for this one, I just simply remove it. That is our nav bar. Okay, that is our nav bar, and that is our nav ID. Perfect. So here I only want to take two of this space. One will be as a home, another will be for our form. So I just simply define as a form. Okay, FRM form. So I have already defined two of this URL. So that is our home. We don't need this, I just simply remove it. And also there is, I only want to take two of this, so right now we don't need this, I just simply remove it. Okay friend, so here I define only two. And also I want to define this nav bar as a dark. Okay, I just make that things as a busy dark, and that is actually LZ nav bar light. I don't want to change it as a dark. So our this position, that means our total position will be base for our every pages. So now I want to inheritance it. So after that I want to define some of the block for a specific this one. So if you already know about that Laravel, then in Laravel we define that part with the yield, right? So into the PHP we define that things with the include, and then we include our specific this file name. So here in Python Django we have to define that things with the block. So that means this part I want to block it. So here you have to block it with the second bracket and then the double percentage. Okay, into the double percentage you have to define that block. That means I just simply define, I want to block it, and into the block I define that body. Okay, I define that body block. I define one of the ID as a body block. And also you have to AND this block. So after this I want to AND it. I just simply AND it with the double percentage and then AND this block. Okay, I just simply AND it. That means here for our this specific page, that means our base HTML, here I define everything and I block it with our this block area, and I just define one of the body, that means one of the ID as a body block. So every page, for the every page, now if you use that index, if you want to use that from HTML, everything will be loaded in particular this position. Okay, everything will be loaded in our this position. So here I just simply block it with our this ID as a block, that means a body block ID. So now we have to defining it in our index, right man? That means here there is our index HTML. So right now I want to remove everything from here. Okay, I just simply remove everything from to this position, because here we don't need this. Here I have already added our CSS, JSS, and also I added our nav bar, right? So now in particular that area it should be loaded. And here in our index HTML, here we have to defining it. Okay, we have to define our this base HTML. Into the base HTML I have defined a specific some of the ID with this as a block, that means a body block, right? So now first of all we have to extend it. So I just simply extend with the second bracket and the double percentage, and here we have to define as the extend, EXTENDS, extends, and extends our file name, our file into the fast app, and that is our base HTML, right? So we have to add it. So that is our file location as a fast underscore app, and then here we have to define our HTML, that means our base HTML as a base.html. Okay friends, so here I just simply extend it fast, and after that I want to define our specific block, that means a specific which area you want to block it. Okay, so that means here I want to block it, that is our percentage, and here I have already defined one of the ID will be as a block, that is a body block. I just simply copy it, and now here in particular that area I just simply define as a block. Okay, block, and then our body block. Perfect. And in particular that area we have to AND it. So I just simply define with the percentage and then AND this block. So I just simply define as AND block. So that means whatever the things now we will put in our this area for the index page, this material will be loaded specific this area. Okay, I hope you can well understand about it. So everything will be very much clear to you when I actually run it. So I just simply define on the h1 tag, and into the h1 tag I define as a like I am from index, or I am index page. Okay, index page. So I just simply define as a I am index page. So now we have to do the same things. We have to do the same things for our from HTML. That means here I just simply remove everything from here, and now I just simply paste it in particular that area. So that will be our form page. I just simply load it as a form. Okay, form page. So there's this specific location will be loaded in our base, into the base. Here I have defined our block as a body block. It should be loaded on here. Okay, so now I just click as a save all. Click as a save all. That is our server. Better I want to run our server again as a Python manage.py and the run server. Click as a enter. Yeah, our server is running. Now go to our site. So that is our site. Click as a refresh. Yes, now you can see, friend, now that is actually our neighbor is loaded, and here our text is loaded, right? So if you make that right now, I'm actually zooming it. That is the home and that is our form. So that is actually our neighbor. So this neighbor actually comes from our base HTML, right? So now I think it should be very much clear to you. So into the base HTML, here I have defined our this neighbor. You can see it's now loaded in particular that area. But in particular that position I have defined our index page, right? So now you can see into this position I define as a block and the body block and the and body block. And here I define this body block in our index. So into the index, here you can see I extended our first tab base HTML. For the reasons here I didn't add this neighbor. Automatically it's getting this neighbor from our base HTML, right? And only I have added as a I am index page. That means that is actually our I am index page, right? So it's now perfectly visible. That means our this position is perfectly loaded in our this block body block area, right, friend? I hope you can well understand about it. So our neighbor is also now perfectly working. And also I want to define some of the link. So here in our neighbor I didn't define our home link and the form link. So I have already created all that route, right? So if you go to our URL, that means in our first tab, that is a URL, I have already defined that form and the home. And also I define our app name. So in our previous video, I have also discussed about that things with you, how you can create some of the relative URL. So now we will use it in this position. That means in our neighbor area, that means that is our base HTML here, that is our home. So now I want to do, I think you already know about it, what exactly you have to do. Then the percentage, and into the percentage here, first of all you have to define that keyword as a URL, right? And then our application name. So our app name, I have defined name as a fast app. So I just simply define as a fast app, then the clone, and after that our index, right? So for this one, that is our path name. So that is our path name as the index, and also I define path name as a form, right? So now I just simply defining it. Perfect, that's all. And also I want to do the same things for our form. Better I just copy it here, I just simply paste it. So that should be our first name, our URL path name as a form. I just simply copy, and now I define as a form. Perfect. Now let's check this out. I just click the save all. Now go to site, refresh it. Now go to the form. Yeah, you can see our neighbor is the same, only our this part, that means our form part is now loaded and now showing as I am from form page. Okay, that is our index page, that is our form page. And also here, if you want to use some of the container, one of the bootstrap class, then it should be better. Right now that is actually into our left position. So here I want to go to our base URL here, in particular that position, that means in our this block body area. I want to define one of the bootstrap class as a div. I define as a div, and into this div I want to define another class. And in bootstrap they have some of the class as a container. Okay, I name it as a container, and then I finish that div, and also you have to finish it. So I just simply define that div. Okay, I just finish it. So now it should be looking good. Click as a save all. So that is one of the bootstrap class. So if you know a little bit that bootstrap, then I think you already know about it. It's very much common one of the class. Yeah, now you can see now it's actually on the perfect position. So next video I want to discuss about that things with you, how can build some of the template filters. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.